Okay, so this is the way our body uses calories. So to understand reverse dieting, we need to have a basic understanding of this. Now, you've probably seen this online. If you haven't, we're gonna go through it now really quickly. 70% of the daily intake of the daily amount of calories that you eat is being used in your BMR, or basal metabolic rate. So they are the calories that if you woke up in a bed, didn't move at all, went to sleep at night, that's the calories you would burn that day. Next is your NEAT. So NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So that would be if you're choosing to go up the stairs instead of going through the elevator, that would be increasing your NEAT through the day. Next is TEF, thermic effect of food. Now that would be, say, eating a high protein diet, adding in dietary fiber and making sure you're having adequate dietary fiber throughout the day. And the last one we have is EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis. Exercise activity thermogenesis is exercise activity, so the exercise that you do purposefully through the day. So if you're gonna leave this video right now, you can at least learn this. NEAT and TEF, so the movement that you do in the day, being more of an active person and choosing better whole foods is going to be doing a lot more for you as far as your diet goes and increasing the amount of calories you're burning in the day than what you're doing in the gym. You have to remember that we're not as evolved and we're not actually that far away from our ancestors as we were, where there used to be times of absolute famine when we wouldn't be able to eat for days and then would gorge ourselves on food. Now our body got used to the idea of finding a lot of food, we would eat that food, and then because there wouldn't be a lot of food, the body would want to store it in an energy source that burns slower so we get more efficiency out of the calories, being fat, because fat burns slower than carbohydrates. Once we got used to that idea, it's now very, very hard, especially with having people that eat very inconsistently throughout the day, people that eat poor foods throughout the day. Our body is still in that famine or feast idea. So when generally people go into a weight loss idea or a weight loss regime, it looks a little bit like this. So they drop their calories down really, really quickly, and they do have some weight loss. Obviously they will have some weight loss because they are dropping down calories. However, what happens when our metabolism gets to the calories that we are, so our BMR will drop down, so we'll move faster, we'll talk slower, our hands will move around a bit slower, things like that. Our NEAT generally will drop down unless it's being monitored by, say, like a step tracker, or you're making sure that you're keeping consistent activity through the day. Even if we're losing weight and we're losing muscle mass, that in itself is going to drop our BMR because it takes less calories to keep that kind of muscle and keep a smaller person alive than a larger person. Once our metabolism hits our calories, we then hit a plateau. This might look a little bit more like if, say, your friend or even yourself has tried to drop their calories down really quickly. They don't really monitor anything, don't track anything, but they just go for a really drastic change and they see initial results, but then it stops. And then they can't really do anymore because they're already feeling hungry and miserable as it is, and they don't want to drop any more calories, but they can't see any more results. Generally, they'll go and do a little bit of activity. That'll see a little bit more of a result. But it gets to a point when it's almost an exercise in futility, right? And it becomes very unhealthy. What it should look like is we want to drop our calories down slowly over time, allowing our metabolism to keep up with those calories so we can see more weight loss over a period of time, and it makes it a lot more sustainable. So you slowly drop it down. Think of it as like a carrot hanging over the top of a horse, right? If you throw that carrot too far out of sight, then the horse isn't really going to move that far. It might move a little bit looking for it and then eventually goes, no. But if you leave that carrot in front of it and you dangle it, it's going to run, it's going to keep going, it's going to keep going, right? That is a very, very easy idea to think about how you should look at weight loss. Little bits over time, just trickling it in front of your metabolism to get the maximum amount of the calories that you're putting in front of the horse. What happens in the long term if you do that diet incorrectly, or let's say even if you do it correctly, but then you go straight up to calories at the start. So you're doing it right, metabolism's being dropped down, body weight's coming down, calories are coming down, all nice and consistently, you're seeing good results, but then you get to your goal weight and then the calories go straight back up. Is as those calories bump up, now remember the metabolism and body weight, they're two different systems, right? And they're two different things, so they recover at different rates. Our calories, they go up as much as we want. We want to eat 8,000 calories, eat 8,000 calories. Not gonna feel good, but you can still do it. So those calories pick straight back up, probably to where they were before, because you're like, hey, I'm at the end of the diet, I can go back to where I want to go now. No, because first off, metabolism recovers slower than body fat does. So body fat is going to shoot up faster than your metabolism recovers. So if that picks up nice and high, what you're going to see is your body weight's going to increase, and because it's still increasing past the point of where it used to be before, so you've probably been eating at these calories for a while, haven't seen any weight loss, any weight gain, because your body has found a point where it likes to live at. It's found an easy way for it to use the calories that you're giving it without having to store on any unnecessary fat. But because it's come down so low, your body is going to increase its body weight while your metabolism is building up. Now, as we get to this point here, where our metabolism, our calories, and our body weight are all lined up, you can now see that there's a disassociation. They used to be the same, but because metabolism recovers slower, body weight goes up faster than that, because calories go up immediately, your body weight is probably going to surpass where it was before. Now, if you've done any dieting before and then you finish a diet and then found that you probably put on a little bit of weight after the end of that diet over a few weeks or over in a few months, that's probably why, because you went straight back up to the same amount of calories that you had before, and now your body weight has surpassed because your metabolism hasn't caught up. Then what generally happens here is that you go for another weight loss phase, but now instead of your metabolism being up here and having this much metabolism to work with, your metabolism is now here. So you can see there is a big difference, which makes weight loss a hell of a lot harder. But why do you need to know those? Because they're very, very important systems that you need to keep in mind when we're talking about this thing. Because if someone comes up to you and says, hey, do you want to lose weight and eat more food? You'd be like, well, yeah, but you're talking shit. What, are you going to sell me some Arabon? What are you, Herbalife? Or just come to your sales pitch, right? What we're talking about here is nothing necessarily magic, but just using the body's systems. If we remind the body that constantly that the food is there over time, one, the body's not necessarily going to have to hold on too much body fat, pure and simply because it's constantly in a feast, not a famine. So it doesn't have to think about trying to hold on to all this food. Let's say that we're down here. We want to pick our calories up going through a reverse diet. If we trickle our calories in very, very slowly over time, what's going to happen, instead of our body having to hold on to excess energy, our basal metabolic rate is going to increase because we are moving more. And then as we start picking that up as well, our NEAT is going to pick up because we've got more energy, we're more active through the day. Again, with the BMR, we're blinking more, we're talking more, we've got more energy, we've got more calories to actually utilize throughout the day. You're going to be able to actually train more. Exercise activity thermogenesis, you're going to be able to train harder, move faster because you're eating more food. Thermic effect of food is going to pick up because if you're doing this properly, you're eating the right food, so you're eating more dietary fiber rich foods, eating more protein. Those calories are coming in and they're being utilized by the body and the body's systems, not necessarily stored as body weight. But we have to do that slowly over time. If you pick your calories up too fast, if anything, you slow down. What happens if you eat a massive bowl of pasta? You go, ugh, I'm not doing anything yet. Unbuckle your belt, you have a glass of wine and you just go lie on the couch, right? That's not really picking up any of those systems, is it? Because you're probably not going to train after that, you're not moving around very much, you're not doing anything. But if we trickle those in over time, again, those calories are going to get used in our bodily systems. So we can get our calories up a hell of a lot higher without having to worry about putting on too much mass. However, just because it sounds like a fairy tale, I'm going to have to crush it a little bit because our body weight is going to increase a little bit. Reason being, because remember, our weight on a scale is measuring how we are affected by gravity and how that gravity is pulling us down into that scale. So if our body is holding on to more calories, remember the first law of thermogenesis, no energy can be created or destroyed, it has to go somewhere, and we're not going to just sweat out all these calories and they're not just going to disappear. So those calories are in our bloodstream, they're going through our digestive system, they're sitting in our stomach. If we're a very trained person, we've got more carbs sitting in our muscles, we've got, say, more stool because we're eating more. So the scale weight is going to go up, and then as we slowly pick those calories up, there is going to be a little bit of body fat increase. Reason being is because there's only a certain level of calories that our body, so say my body at this level of body fat with this muscle mass, there's a certain level that my body is going to hold as far as calories is concerned. So if we pick our calories up and we start putting on a little bit of body fat, now we talk about a little bit here, we're not talking about say 15, 20 kilos, we're talking in like hundreds of grams, okay? So as that picks up, our bodily systems are slowly going to pick up, and then as our bodily systems reach, say, that maximum for that body weight and for that body fat level, then our weight is going to pick up a little bit because there is going to be a little bit of an overspill. And then as we get towards the end here, then that's when we're looking at having as lower body fat here, and we're going to have a lot more calories to play with. So is someone that weighs 70 kilos going to be able to get 7,000 calories without putting on any weight through a reverse diet? So this person here, let's say that they weighed 110 kilos. They're at their lowest weight and their lowest area where they want to be, eating 2,000 calories, weighing at 70 kilos. Now what we know from here and from what I've just told you, bodily systems are going to pick up. We're also going to be storing more weight. We're going to have more mass on our actual frame through our bodily systems, going through our digestive system, in our muscles. So by the time we get to the end here, there is going to be a bit of a weight increase, but you'll find that person looked extremely good for their weight. And even talking about women, because I say muscles are going to be fuller, doesn't mean you're going to be fat, okay? Fat doesn't matter. It's when we're not talking about fat. If you want to be lean, lean is as little fat under the skin as possible while your muscles are pressing up against the skin. That's the easiest way to think about it. So even if you think of it like that, you're going to have more energy, more calories in those muscles. So those muscles are going to appear slightly bigger and they're going to be filling out the same kind of area in your arm, which means body fat around your arm is just going to appear to be less. So you're going to look leaner. So we're not talking about being massive. Again, estrogen is anti-catabolic. You don't be putting on muscle. We get 80 kilos here. We're eating 7,000 calories. That is a massive amount of calories to be eating. Now, this is just rough numbers just to give you an idea of the system that we're talking about here. Someone who weighs 70 kilos, if they go up to 7,000 calories, they could be having more than 10 kilos of fat. There's no science between this and this. It comes down to how your body reacts to the calories, how you store calories, how you're moving around, how much you adhere to the actual program. But it is super possible for you to go from super low calories or lower calories to super high calories without putting on as much weight, as long as you do a reverse diet properly. That's pretty much all I wanted to go through with today's video. I just wanted to let you know that it is possible. It is something that you can do. However, it needs to be done properly. Now, if you do have any questions about reverse dieting, pop it down in the comments. I'm going to be starting to write up a PDF very soon that I'm going to be posting up on my website about how to actually do reverse diets properly. However, if you do have any questions, obviously, let us know. And I'm very happy if you made it this far, because I know this has probably been a pretty long video.